Yeah, thanks, ET Now team for inviting ONDC and me, and give us an opportunity to explain you what ONDC is all about. Clear a lot of myths around that, uh, and this is the clicker, ma'am. Uh, is this the clicker? Yeah. Thanks. So over next 15 to 20 minutes, I will cover what ONDC is all about, how the journey has been so far, and what we are specifically doing in the mobility domain to revolutionize the digital, leverage the technology to revolutionize entire digital space in terms of Bharat's mobility. So initial perception of ONDC generally has been that it's one of the Me Too platform. It's one of the competition to existing large marketplace aggregators. It could be one of the government application. Or is it a super app for India? So just trying to clear that ONDC is none of these, but it's just a backend protocol change through wherein through a set of common APIs we are unbundling various components of our digital transactions and making it interoperable so that various closed network platforms, the ones which we are having in any existing day-to-day life today, can interact with each other seamlessly. And we believe that this will enhance the discoverability both at the buyer side as well as the seller side and unlock India's digital economy by next $100 billion in the immediate term. And let us quickly understand that why did we actually need this revolution at all? Was there a need, or it's just something fancy? So we believe that there was a dear need to do this because digital commerce globally today is highly concentrated, and you go to any country, the top 50% of the market share is concentrated with top four players broadly, right? And India is no different when it comes to that. It's an oligopoly market. You take ride-hailing services, or you say food delivery ecosystem, or you take goods ecosystem, or you say take a fashion ecosystem. In all these domains, we broadly have two or three players, ruling the market with almost 90% plus market share, right? So India at this point in time had so globally people have chosen to the Westerns have chosen to bring in law to control this ecosystem, while China took a position of a dictatorship to control this problem statement or address this problem statement. India had a choice whether we should use technology or we should also take a normal route of introducing various law, where we believe that if we introduce more law, it will only pile up to pending cases of litigations in various courtrooms. And the India at this point where India is today, India had a proven track record of a decade wherein an open digital ecosystem has been leveraged to transform the various landscape in India, be it Aadhaar, be it UPI, be it FASTag. So we said that why not do a fourth one on ONDC and go beyond the borders of India. Right? Statistically, also 90% of the business houses in India is MSME, while only 7% is digital. 7% has been able to capitalize on the benefits of digital commerce, right? And it's highly under indexed when it comes to neighboring economies, be it US, Indonesia, China. And we believe that if we can just move this needle of 7% by a marginal number also, it can explode to next $100 billion. I mean, I can just imagine that if we go up to as high as that of China, the India's ecosystem of trade would be completely different what we see today, right? So let me spend some time to explain you what challenges does a platform-centric approach brings, and what value proposition a open data or open digital-based ecosystem brings, and how we are going to transform this over next two slides. So inherently, if a platform-centric approach has got various challenges, be it in terms of high entry barriers, wherein smaller players cannot participate freely because they do not have the capacity or capability, while the discoverability both on the buyer side as well as the seller side is limited, as these large market aggregators try to prioritize those sellers who give them very hefty margins, right? And even those customers who subscribe to their loyalty programs, get more preferred services, right? Even the innovation is completely catered in-house through very highly paid tech resources, or top class companies of the world gets the contract to digitize or solve for their problem statement, while any smaller player who would actually be doing a good job does not get a seat on the table to solve for their problem statement internally. And even the terms and trade are completely biased to prioritize the shareholders interest of this company. Just take an example that if there's one small seller based in Delhi's Khan market who's selling his product on, say, one of the application, say Amazon for that matter, these platforms give you an option of 30-day return policy, no question asked. But can this small seller of Khan market actually afford that? What if he doesn't want to take a return? He doesn't have that much margin. And we all know that the current ecosystem has also been known as a changing room, where people get the product, use the product, return it back. So what does seller do in that case? Can these terms and conditions be guided by him? We believe network based approach and open network based, a transition to network based approach could be an answer for this, because of a seamless connectivity, both buyer and seller are able to discover each other without any boundaries and without any walled garden thereon. And this ecosystem fosters a lot of innovation, because any and everybody can participate through their solution in form of technology or business innovation and come and participate on the network. It creates a level playing field for the smaller sellers, because who are otherwise left behind now gets an opportunity on the digital eco space, right? And now the powers are in the hand of buyer and the seller. Ultimately it's their product. The buyer has to pay, the seller has to sell. Why should an aggregator control the ecosystem in any which ways? So this, we believe that ONDC can democratize, and through the fundamental principle of unbundling and interoperable, this could be made possible. Let me explain you, that's how we are going to do this. Have we created something very unique? Have we written a very transformative coding language? Absolutely not. The fundamental principle on which ONDC is being built upon existed even before when I was born, right? So our entire email ecosystem today works on an open network framework. So today you can send email from a Gmail to a Microsoft Outlook, if your client is on Outlook, seamlessly without any restriction, right? All you need is a logical, correct email ID, and you do not even know that how backend exactly functions. So ONDC is going to exactly be the similar one, wherein we say that buyer can be on any platform, seller can be any platform. They both do not need to be on the same platform, just like email, wherein if you are using Gmail, your client necessarily need not be on Gmail. So same coming back to ONDC, the buyer can be on any platform, seller can be on any platform. If there is an inventory which has been uploaded by seller using any application, buyer of any application can now buy the product. Let me give you an example through a walkthrough. I'll cover walkthrough example in a couple of slides. So let me just break this a little more. If I were to break a digital commerce pillar, there are broadly four sides to it: the buyer side, the seller side, the logistics side, and the payment side. Payment side has already been solved seamlessly using UPI. I mean, almost 60% of India's ecosystem operates on UPI today. There are a lot of allied services around search engine optimization or returns, badging, complaining. All these are solvable, right? Only four top fillers, if can be solved, all these will follow the suit easily. In today's ecosystem, this is a closed ecosystem, right? One company owns all the four pillars, and it is seamlessly stitched so that a buyer or a seller, or I would say any of the three participants, do not know what's happening in the backend engine. What ONDC brings on the table is that through a set of common APIs, we unbundle these four services and make it interoperable, so that any side on any application can seamlessly transact to other side on other application. What it actually the world would look like. If I were to just quickly flip to the last slide, what world looks today is one application owns all the four pillar. The world in an ONDC ecosystem looks something like this, wherein every pillar is owned by somebody else. The buyer can be on Paytm, the seller can be on Magic Pin, the logistics side can be stitched by India's own India Post, right? While in today's ecosystem, even the logistics completely is owned by these large platform aggregators. Why does ONDC want to do that? We believe that through this ecosystem, we enable player to focus on their core domain. let me ask you a question: that do you believe Amazon is the best service provider in the world today to solve for the logistics, or the power should be with DTDCs and India Post of the world, whose primary business is to solve logistics? Amazon expertises in chapter A, let them focus on chapter A. If DTDC's expertises in logistics, let them take this front seat when it comes to logistics. So let me explain you through a buyer journey. So in an ecosystem, what it looks like, that if a buyer wants to buy a pizza on Paytm or Ola, he can go and search for food or say pizza on each of this application. What happens the moment he searches this, the search result gets passed on or relayed onto ONDC network, wherein using that ONDC network, lot of seller applications gets the search request that there is a person in Delhi's Taj Palace who wants to buy a pizza, and a lot of seller application forwards the request to various sellers who can be infinite, right? So somebody was on Paytm, seller was on some other application. One seller wants to participate in this trade deal, the information starts relaying back in a circular loop and gets relayed on the buyer applications interface, and the deal is closed in that way. And let me make it more complex. What if this seller does not have a logistics facility? He may not have access. He being a small seller may not have access to DTDCs and Shadowfax or large players of the world. Network democratizes that. Now seller can change the hat and become a buyer of a logistics service on the ONDC network, and somebody on the seller side is already willing to supply the logistics side, logistics facility, which today he had to rely on large players. Moving forward, I just briefly touched upon what benefit it brings to the buyer and the seller side. It fundamentally improves the visibility on both sides, discoverability on the both sides. Sellers are able to save certain margins which are today taken away by large players in a rent-seeking tendency, while the buyer gets access to more goods and services at a much cheaper price at his own wills and disposal. It has been a very, very hyper-paced scale-up journey for us. We are just scratching the tip of the iceberg. Almost did 7 crore 37 lakh transactions in just a few months. 10 million transactions is what we are doing monthly today, vis-a-vis 1,000 transactions almost a little more than a year back. So a robust pool of lifting livelihoods of 5.48 lakh sellers across 600 cities, delivering to 1,200 cities of India. 50% of the business comes from tier 2 plus cities across 11 domains which network has enabled, and 80% of the business goes to MSMEs and the smaller sellers. So we are truly democratizing the digital commerce and taking away the concentration which these large players have taken under the hat of being a market aggregator. We almost have 22 buyer applications, 72 seller applications, 16 logistics service providers, and almost 17,000 plus are in various advanced stages of integration. We started with grocery and food as a domain, expanded to mobility and various other domains on the screen for you. Active participation has been received from every cohort of the industry, and we have got very, very fancy names such as Jagran Media. It's a typical newspaper based company, but has joined the network to now sell food and services to its core user base. So people are now able to monetize the user base, and that's the power of data. We also have active support from very large global conglomerates such as Google and Meta. Google is helping us and partnering with us voluntarily to solve the core tech stack and the tech protocol and make it robust and foolproof, while Meta is coming up with very, very, very innovative thing wherein using a WhatsApp you will be able to complete the trade transaction. All you need to do is just type I want to buy a pizza on your WhatsApp channel, and you get inventory on all the inventory around your surroundings on that same interface. You are able to complete the transaction using WhatsApp payment or any other payment mode for that matter. Just one slide on how people have transformed their businesses. Magic Pin was a typical use case very close to my heart. A typical company which was into discounting and coupon delivery business, using ONDC ventured into food business and has posted a growth of almost 780x in just few months, right? And many much such examples are there. Ola, for a matter, in mobility domain, they entered into logistics service provider from a cab hailing or auto hailing, and today they're almost doing 40,000 transactions on the network. Let me quickly spend 5 minutes, last 5 minutes, on what ONDC is doing in the mobility. We believe mobility has got a very, very important use case in a network-based approach, wherein the market is commanded by top two players in India. The seller side is impacted because they have to shelf off very high commission on per ride basis, and they do not have an autonomy or information around what rides are required. The buyer are impacted due to very high cost, low supply, and frequent cancellation, and very poor experience, while the government is also impacted because the entire infrastructure is not 100% utilized, and that leads to a lot of underutilized cabs and autos on the roads, leading to very high pollution. And we believe that with an ONDC ecosystem, this can be democratized. That what typically a buyer today does, it maybe go on Ola, check the price, go on Uber, check the price, then compare and take one route. With an ONDC ecosystem, once this integration happens, this will not be required. The supply of Uber can be seen on the user interface of Ola, and you can seamlessly buy. So you would know that Ola is on using any of one application. You would know Ola is supplying a ride from say Taj Palace to say Connaught Palace at say X rupee, while Uber is supplying at X rupee. The distance of the service provider is at X kilometers, the fastest route, the power is at your hand, you choose what you want, right? So this is how an ONDC ecosystem would actually look like in a mobility space. So we have already launched mobility, democratized mobility in almost 8 cities with autos, cabs, and metros, transforming life of almost 4 lakh cab and auto drivers. 70 lakh plus users have already taken rides on the ONDC, and we have given them an earning of almost 660 crores in just 1.5 years. Moving how we transform the world for a metro, which may be very relevant for this audience, is that let us first understand, just break the metro journey into 2 or 3 broad parts: pre-journey, during the journey, and post-journey ecosystem. Right? Pre-journey today, while players like DTDC have launched a smart app which gives you entire visibility on the route and the timings of the train, but a lot of metro players have still not done that because India's metro ecosystem is still evolving. Calcutta was the first one, even that is under a huge revamp currently. So I in my personal opinion, India's metro ecosystem is still evolving. It's at an underdeveloped stage, moving to a developing stage. So ONDC as a network needs to solve for this fundamentally, so that people know that I can take a metro. Today I am from Calcutta, I don't hail from Delhi. I do not understand the complex blue line, red line, magenta line. I get completely confused. Who's going to solve it for me? ONDC is a place where this can be solved. During the journey also, what we need to think about is there's a first mile journey, there's a mid mile which happens through metro, and there's a last mile journey. So from your home to metro station, and from metro station back to your office or say your end destination, is something which is still disintegrated and is not solved for. While I went to Singapore almost 3 to 4 years back, this is seamlessly stitched there. You can just take one QR code and do all the journey all together, right? This is what ONDC can solve for it in a seamless fashion. And after the journey, feedback. Singapore has a beautiful system of feedback communication and active action upon whatever feedback a customer does. And that's how that ecosystem evolves and matures over a period of time. With ONDC, we are not only going to solve metro, but also it's a route to Bharat's journey towards an multimodal transportation. One app solves all. So today, so just let me spend some more time over here. For example, if you land in Delhi and you want to take a metro from airport, go to Kashmiri Gate via a bus, and then take an auto to say Karnal, the end mile what you have, ONDC can enable or has already started enabling one QR code, all the journey, one app. You don't need to go on various apps. In today's world, if you have to go to Shimla for a vacation, you need to go to Red Bus for Chandigarh for booking your bus tickets. You need to go to Make My Trip to book your flight tickets. You need to go to some other cab aggregator to book your end mile cab, and you may need to go to a lot of lead generation platform to to connect to agents who can give you end destination sightseeings and so on and so forth. But in an ONDC ecosystem, we believe that you just go to one application, add it to your cart, check out, payment done, close. That's how what actually happens in a Amazon ecosystem also today, right? You can buy grocery, denim, mobile phone, PlayStation, everything in one single cart, one single checkout. That's all. So that's the beauty of network-based approach. The project is very close to heart to Prime Minister's office, and under his command, this organization has been formed as a Section 8 company with DPIIT. We had a privilege to have a place of our mission in his manifesto also. With him forming the government, we believe that the journey has just started, and we're going to just transform the way India interacts today in a digital ecosystem. I strongly believe that nobody can now stop this intervention whose time has come. We all believe that UPI may not be a success, but today we know that without my QR code and phone, my life is completely paralyzed. That's all from my side. Thank you, everybody.